Good evening, people. I'm going to demonstrate how to make a perfect cup of tea. And I mean, this is serious level of tea making actually. So first thing first is obviously let's boil the water. Let the water settle down for a bit. What we're going to do now is, once the water settled down from boiling, I'm going to pour it into this mug. I'm going to let the mug warm up for about a minute. I'm just getting the tea bag sugar and the dried milk. I do not use the normal milk because it tastes horrible. So I'll be using this. Let me just turn the camcorder. Yep, that's what I will be using for my tea. Leave that there. Just normal sugar and Tetley tea bags. Now I'm not promoting Tetley here. I do sort of tend to enjoy Tetley, as long as it's made the right way. So let's feel the temperature of the mug. That's hot. The whole idea is here that when you actually put a hot water in a cold mug, the temperature of the water drops quite significantly because it needs to warm up the mug itself. So when you dip the tea bag in, you're stirring the crap out of it, and by doing so you're bringing out all the fine bits which will sort of sit at the bottom. You throw the sachet away, the tea bag sachet, and you know, you're sipping away. But if you leave that tea for a while, what you will notice is that towards the end you'll see all the black tea dust and tea whatever bits that are left over. So that's not going to happen here. This is one of the reasons why I would like to demonstrate this. So yeah, we're quite happy that the mug is hot. I can barely touch. So let's move on to the next stage. Right, I'm going to pour this water back into the kettle. Just rerun the kettle again. Grab a tea bag, give it a shake, just so that nothing's coming out of it. Because every time when you're having a cup of tea, and towards the end of the very last sip, it's always bitter. And the reason why it's bitter is it's leaving all the crap underneath, basically. So there we go. That goes in while the mug is hot, which it is. I'm going to pour and not fill up the mug. And I'm telling you, don't do that. Not with one bag of. If you're only using one tea bag, about that much. Because all you're doing is you're diluting this tea bag into a larger mug, and if you don't fucking feel the flavour of the tea itself, you just it'll never be a proper cup of tea. So now what I'm going to do, and I know that a lot of you won't have the time and patience for all this, I'm looking for a saucer, which I don't have, so I'm going to have to sort of, I'm going to leave this covered for about, oh there it is. There it is, my sauce. I'm just thinking where it was. Leave it covered for about a minute, and we're near enough done. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. We've had an absolutely massive heat wave down north of North Manchester. That's in UK. I'm from UK. So obviously I'm not going to stir it, because by stirring it I'm going to bring out the what's the word for it? I just want the tea itself to sort of dilute and extract its flavour all by itself without me sort of squeezing the crap out of it. By doing that, this is where again that bitterness comes out on the tea. So I just want to sort of let it settle. I'm going to keep an eye on the colour as well, because I just want it to sort of naturally, by the heat of the water, extract its flavouring basically. So the colour is important. So I'm gonna wait for another, say about a minute or so. You can, towards the end, I'll, you know, as I'm taking the tea bag out, I'll give maybe 1 or 2 stir. That's as far as it goes basically. So let's just hang fire. The problem I have is that when I'm doing something, it has to be to the best of its ability. I just can't fucking cut corners right here. Do this, do that, do this, and cut corners. No, it's not me. You either do it properly or don't do it at all. So let's see what the colour is. Okay. Stay focus on that tea bag. Tea bag, tea cup. See what's going on. It's nice and hot. The reason why I'm covering up the top, and I should have mentioned that earlier on, is just so that the water doesn't go hot by just leaving the tea bag and the water in the mug like this, because if I leave it open like this, obviously the heat will dissipate and the water temperature will drop quite rapidly versus this method. This video is only for those people who wants to have a best cup of tea. Those who are on the rush and on the go, I can totally understand that you won't fucking have the time to even go through this process. So yeah, hands up, I understand. Right, okay, so I'm going to grab myself a teaspoon. The other problem is that you're using very little sugar, because sugar is quite bad for health, unfortunately. So by doing what you're doing, you're using very little sugar. That's brilliant, the light came on from the camcorder, that's excellent. Okay, so you're using very little sugar. Oh. So look at the amount of tea and look at the colour that is the flavouring that is extracted all by itself. All I'm going to do is just couple of nice and gently just lift up the bag. That's it. So there's nothing on the underneath, absolutely nothing. Look, this is why I chose a clay mug. There's no leftover of the teas and everything. So that's that. Now let's add a teaspoonful of sugar. I'll probably use it 1.5. Oops. Okay. And finally add this dried, what is this now? Yeah, full cream milk powder, and it's called Dano. Okay, this really gives the tea a distinctive flavour. Furthermore, that when you bring out milk from a fridge, it kind of sort of what's the word? It sort of loses the tea's the water. It drops the water's temperature down because you're adding cold water, cold milk onto this hot water, and of course it will just drop the temperature, and it'll just taste. I don't know. I mean, the dairy products is something that I tend to try and keep away from if I can, because there's nothing else but bloody health hazards. To be quite honest with you, everything and anything's health hazard if you have too much of it. But anyway, let's stay focused on this topic for now. Give it a couple of stirring. You're done. Perfect. Now I'm going to enjoy this cup of tea, but with something that a lot of people won't agree. A lot of people will not agree. And that's with Jaffa cake. yeah, that's all. Beautiful. Have a great weekend, guys. Just before I go, look at this. Perfect. Small amount of water, but having a small amount of water, you're only going to need a small amount of sugar. It's no good having a large mug with one little tea bag. You can add another tea bag, whatever it is, if you want to have a larger mug. But I prefer to sort of have a small amount of tea, small amount of sugar, small amount of milk, and you still feel the flavour of the tea. This is what I call a perfect tea. Great weekend, all the best, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.